crucial point in this was that we had an existing track on which vehicles could move up to Richinla.
I see.
And similarly, the Chinese also had a track. This is the Chinese track coming up towards Richinla.
I see.
You know,
from their side, from their side.
And they also had a track, and we also had a track.
Okay.
So both sides, you know, the early mover advantage would go to the side which was first on top.
So you did the first movers advantage.
We had the first movers advantage in the case of the
Kailash Range. And that's exactly why the Kailash Range operations are now a part of a folklore, actually, if you ask me. But also, what surprised many people, I don't know whether it surprised the Chinese or not, they did perhaps, that the armor was also taken up to these areas.
Nitin, strictly speaking, the movement of the armor was initiated by the Chinese. However, we had kept our armor in the shadow, in close vicinity for a contingency.
Right.
And we could see large amount of PLA armor and guns being mobilized in the area, in that area. But our response, our armor did go, but was always in the shadow. It had never gone on top initially, I would say. But in response, as their armor came up, then our...
So their armor coming up was in response to our occupying those heights?
Yes. They had initially, you know, there was on 1st August, their initial patrols came in close vicinity of our troops, and you could say that they started showing this kind of banners and saying that you please go back. And once our troops gave a very stern warning, they went back, and then you can say that they started bringing their armor behind.
They brought them here, like
they brought their, gradually they crept up their armor, and meanwhile concurrently there were talks going on both the sides or to disengage.
There was surely also that attempt from both sides that there should be negotiations.
Yes.
But this gave us options, this operations basically.
Yes, this option, the build-up also indicates the importance to the other side. You know, this kind of build-up is probably the largest build-up that has ever happened on the line of actual control. You know, between the two countries.
Sure. Not even in 62 we had so many troops there.
Yes.
Really.
And neither has it happened in any of the previous build-ups.
Standoffs or build-ups that have happened.
So the thresholds were severely being tested, I would say, by this.
And maybe red lines in some people's minds, basically.
Yes.
So this is what you
see this, their armor coming up.
They were trying
right
to build up.
under our observation.
So this is what you were observing from the top. Your troops were observing.
And their complete build-up was visible. You know, and had a military option to be exercised. You know, in military parlance, this is a very, very suicidal kind of a build-up.
A juicy target. I'm saying this. But this is what they say, that, you know, when you have the heights, commanding the heights, then you have the advantage. I think that's where Kailash Range operations got the advantage for India.
Yes, those was strategically important.
This is their build-up again.
Yes, that's
I see. So, just to, you know, sort of finish this particular operational deployment here, when they brought in all this, obviously they also knew that India had the similar deployment or similar preparation in the shadows, like you said, of the armor, of the guns and everything. So this became like a, not a stalemate, but a trigger for more negotiations, more closer negotiations perhaps.
I would say that very serious negotiations commenced
thereafter.
And as the army commander has gone on media to say that probably this was one of the turning points in the negotiation.